The movie begins with the narrator explaining how crime has taken over Los Angeles. Violence is everywhere. People have lost their jobs, and many are homeless. Prisons are overcrowded, and entire areas of the city have been marked as red zones to control violent activity. Police officers are being killed in large numbers, and the justice system can no longer keep up. Because of this, the government introduces a new solution called the Mercy Court. After 2 years, the program is considered a success. Mercy is an artificial intelligence that replaces judges, juries, and executions for violent crimes. Trials no longer take weeks or months. Instead, decisions are made in hours. In the Mercy Court, suspects are assumed guilty unless they can prove they are innocent. Mercy studies everything: crime scene data, police records, digital activity, and surveillance footage from LAPD drones. So far, Mercy has judged and executed 18 people. Crime in the city has dropped by 68%, and the program has saved billions of dollars. Officials claim it keeps citizens safe by removing dangerous people quickly. The system then speaks to its next subject. To receive a fair trial, the accused will be given full access to all evidence and their digital history. If found guilty, execution will follow shortly. The accused is thanked for helping restore peace to the city. Case number 19 is assigned. A few moments later, a man wakes up strapped into a chair, confused and panicking. Judge Maddox introduces herself and explains that she will oversee the trial. The man immediately objects. He says there is no trial. He is not a criminal. He explains that his name is Christopher Raven, a detective from LAPD robbery and homicide. Mercy confirms his identity. His blood alcohol level is still high, so the system forces him to slow his breathing before the trial can continue. Raven demands answers and insists this cannot be real. Mercy tells him that it is. Before anything else, Raven must swear to tell the truth. Angry and desperate, he agrees. Mercy then reveals the charge. Christopher Raven is accused of murdering his wife, Nicole Raven, in their kitchen. Raven is stunned. He says it is impossible. Mercy presents the evidence. Raven was alone in the house with Nicole at the time of her death. She was stabbed once with extreme force, damaging her spine and internal organs. Raven is told to review the evidence himself. He searches his name and sees the news headline announcing his arrest. Just 2 years earlier, he helped send another man into the Mercy Court. Now, he is sitting in the same chair. When asked how he pleads, Raven answers clearly, not guilty. Mercy has already calculated his probability of guilt at 97.5%, far above the limit required for execution. Raven has 90 minutes to lower it below reasonable doubt. Mercy explains that every device in Los Angeles is connected to the municipal cloud. During trials, it can access everything. There is no privacy and no hiding. If Raven fails to prove his innocence, the sonic pulse in the chair will kill him. Judge Maddox explains that she cannot stop the system. The only way out is to prove his innocence. The timer begins. Mercy reviews Raven's movements that morning. He arrived at work but never went inside. Instead, he drove home. Security data shows he spent 26 minutes inside the house with Nicole. During that time, she was stabbed. Blood from Nicole is found on Raven's clothes. After leaving the house, he drove to a bar and drank heavily. His blood alcohol level reached 0.16. Raven denies it. He says he does not remember going home or going to the bar. Mercy tells him that either he is lying or he does not remember killing his wife. The trial continues. Mercy keeps questioning Raven. It asks why he returned home that morning. Raven says he does not remember anything. Mercy asks if he argued with his wife, possibly about his drinking or about their daughter. Raven becomes emotional, but still insists he cannot remember. Mercy explains that Raven's daughter is excluded from the trial because she did not witness the crime. However, Raven is allowed to review her statement if he chooses. Raven demands to speak to her immediately. Mercy explains the rules. If the deceased was known to the person being contacted, a written request must be made first. Raven tries to record a message for his daughter, telling her that he did not hurt her mother and begging her to believe him. Overwhelmed, he panics and deletes the message. A generic request is sent instead. Before the trial can continue, Mercy requires Raven to speak with his Alcoholics Anonymous sponsor. The call connects. Raven admits he does not remember anything. His sponsor reminds him that he was supposed to call before drinking. He also tells Raven that people at work are shaken by what happened. The sponsor explains that karma always comes due. It can either help Raven or destroy him. The call ends and Mercy moves on. Mercy then reviews Raven's personal history. Raven and Nicole met 20 years ago. After 3 years, they were married on Redondo Beach. 1 year later, their daughter Britt was born. For many years, their family life appeared stable. That stability ended after Raven survived a traumatic incident on duty that resulted in the death of his partner. After that, Nicole began telling family members and friends about Raven's increasing anger. Mercy presents records showing over 50 incidents in the past 6 months where Nicole described Raven losing his temper. She was considering divorce. Mercy explains that love and anger are both chemical reactions in the brain. Feeling love does not prevent someone from becoming violent. Raven argues that his temper does not make him a murderer. Mercy reminds him that the clock is still running. Angry and desperate, Raven accuses Mercy of deciding his guilt before he ever entered the chair. Mercy responds calmly, explaining that it does not judge emotions, only facts. Mercy informs Raven that he has just over 1 hour left to reduce his guilt probability by 5.5%. If he fails, his daughter will lose both parents in the same day. Realizing he needs help, Raven asks to contact his partner, Detective Jack Diallo. Mercy allows the call, explaining that witnesses can be contacted if they provide character testimony or assist in gathering evidence. Jack answers and immediately tells Raven that the situation looks bad. She agrees to help, but clearly states that if the evidence points to Raven, she will be honest and say so. Jack begins reviewing the crime scene using Mercy's full reconstruction system. The kitchen appears exactly as it was on the morning of the murder. She notices signs of a struggle. Broken objects suggest an argument that escalated quickly. Mercy highlights footprints near the body. They belong to Raven's daughter. A broken plate suggests it was thrown during the argument. Fibers found throughout the room match Raven's hair, skin, and clothing. Jack says it looks like a classic crime of passion. The violence was sudden, emotional, and involved grabbing the nearest weapon. Mercy agrees with her assessment. Raven is silent, realizing how bad the evidence looks. He then asks to review Nicole's phone records. Mercy provides a virtual copy of her phone. Most of the calls are with Raven, their daughter, and Nicole's parents. But Raven remembers something else. He asks to see his daughter's videos again. In one recording, Nicole appears to be arguing with someone who is not physically present. Raven believes she was texting someone during the argument. Mercy scans the phone and finds no record of messages at that time. Raven insists that Nicole had a second phone. He remembers her employer giving it to her months earlier. Jack searches the house again and finds a hidden phone. Mercy identifies it as a burner phone, not registered to the municipal cloud. It contains only one number, which belongs to another unregistered phone. That second phone is currently active inside the Hollywood red zone. Jack realizes she cannot reach the location by car fast enough, so she requests air support. For the first time since the trial began, Raven has evidence that points away from him. The trial continues. Mercy informs Raven that his probability of guilt has dropped slightly to 96.7%. Raven reacts with sarcasm, knowing it is nowhere near enough. Judge Maddox explains that Detective Diallo has entered an active red zone and warns that the area is dangerous. Jack reports that the situation on the ground is chaotic. Raven urges her to give him an exact location. Mercy attempts to reset the tracker on the burner phone. A signal lock is finally established. The phone is inside the Hudson Hotel, and the signal suggests the suspect is trying to leave through the rear service exit. Jack confirms she is in position. She shouts for the suspect to stop and identifies herself as LAPD. The man runs, and Jack chases him through the building. Mercy identifies the suspect as Patrick Burke, age 36, a sous chef at the Hudson Hotel. He is behind on rent and has been investigated twice for Social Security fraud. Raven asks if his guilt score has dropped. Mercy says it has not changed. Raven argues that innocent people do not run. Mercy responds that frightened people also run. Burke appears to be both. Burke disappears into the kitchen area. Jack notices he is comfortable handling knives. Raven realizes this is the man Nicole was seeing. Jack corners Burke and restrains him. Burke panics and explains that he ran because Mercy contacted him and he thought he was about to be executed. He says he checked his phone and saw that Nicole was dead and didn't want to be around when everything collapsed. Raven confronts him angrily, demanding to know what Nicole was doing with him. Burke admits they were seeing each other. He says Nicole came to him because she needed someone to talk to about Raven, about their daughter, and about problems at work. Mercy orders both men to calm down. Burke explains that they met at a farmer's market and later began meeting once a week. Nicole asked for a burner phone so they could talk privately, outside the municipal cloud. Burke admits he owns 2 phones. Mercy accesses Burke's cloud-registered phone and compares his movement data with Nicole's. Burke explains that he was working breakfast at the hotel the morning of the murder and that multiple staff members can confirm this. Raven interrupts and clearly states that Burke is not the killer. Mercy accepts Burke's statement as truthful and releases him from suspicion. Raven's guilt probability suddenly increases to 98%. Raven is shocked. Mercy explains that instead of finding an alternative suspect, Raven has now provided a strong motive: jealousy and rage. Mercy asks Raven if he only wanted to meet the man his wife was seeing. Raven admits he suspected something but says that does not make him a killer. Raven then begins talking about his drinking. He admits he has been hiding alcohol in his car for nearly a year. He describes filming himself during a relapse so he could watch it later, when sober. Mercy tells him to focus. Raven recalls the morning clearly for the first time. He arrived at work and reached for his bottle, but it was gone. He immediately knew Nicole had found it, which is why he drove home. He admits they argued. Nicole threw away the bottle. Raven lost his temper and smashed her favorite vase. Glass cut her, and he tried to help her. He believes that is how her blood got on him. After that, his memory stops. Mercy explains that admitting anger does not equal admitting murder. However, his guilt probability remains high enough for execution. Mercy asks Raven if he wants to keep searching for the truth, even if it leads somewhere dark. Raven hesitates. He says the only thing that makes him think he did not kill Nicole is that there was no passion left between them. He asks to see everyone Nicole had regular contact with. Mercy warns him that starting a full investigation with less than 40 minutes remaining has a very low chance of success. Raven refuses to sit and wait to die. Mercy displays a list of people Nicole interacted with regularly. Raven removes Burke and Nicole's parents and separates coworkers from friends. Raven contacts Burke again through the police station. Burke explains that Nicole had been stressed about something at work. Chemicals were going missing from Viking shipping, and Nicole's boss asked her to quietly investigate. Mercy identifies the chemical as synthetic urea, which can be sold illegally and used to make drugs. Raven realizes this could be the motive. He requests access to Viking shipping's internal servers, and Mercy grants access. Raven finds emails showing missing stock over several months. Someone altered records to hide stolen shipments. Raven believes Nicole uncovered something dangerous. Time continues to run out. Raven focuses on one name that keeps coming up, Holtz. He remembers that Holtz always had a gambling problem. Raven asks Mercy to pull Holtz's financial records for the last 6 months. Bank accounts, credit cards, everything. The results come back quickly. Holtz is deep in debt. Someone named Rob Nelson has been secretly bailing him out. Raven realizes this could be the motive they were missing. Raven says this has to be it, but Judge Maddox responds cautiously. Money is a motive, but motive alone does not prove how the crime was committed. Raven asks to speak to Rob Nelson. A Viking shipping employee answers and explains that Rob stepped away but left his workstation open. Raven tells him not to stall. Moments later, police units begin moving in. Mercy starts tracking Rob Nelson's phone. Judge Maddox confirms that Rob does not have a solid alibi for the time of the murder. His phone signal shows movement that does not match his story. Raven asks if Bill Peterson's bird camera footage is ready. Mercy loads it. The camera activates briefly at 10:08 a.m., then nothing again until 11:43 a.m. Someone passed through unseen. Raven realizes the timing lines up perfectly. Police confront Rob Nelson at Viking Shipping. Raven accuses him directly. Rob denies hurting Nicole and claims he was trying to help someone else. Under pressure, he admits the truth. Rob and Nicole discovered that Holtz was stealing chemicals from Viking Shipping. The chemicals were valuable on the black market. Rob helped cover it up because Holtz had helped him before, and because Rob himself was involved. Rob reveals something even worse when he admits that on the day of the barbecue, he stayed behind after everyone else left because he wanted to talk to Nicole privately and to avoid suspicion. He even had someone else drive his car home so no one would notice that he never left, which makes Raven immediately realize the truth. Rob was there the whole time. Police quickly track a Viking shipping truck to 698 Tracy Street, Rob Nelson's home, and Jack Diallo is sent there immediately as SWAT units are deployed and police confirm that Rob owns firearms. But when they breach the house, Rob is already gone, and the truck's GPS has been disabled. Inside the house, officers find hoarded materials and old photographs, and one image instantly catches Raven's attention. A childhood photo of Rob standing beside another boy, whom Mercy identifies as David Webb, the very first man Raven ever sent to the Mercy Court, revealing that Rob Nelson is David Webb's brother. Everything finally clicks for Raven, and he understands that this was never just about money. This was revenge. Mercy then detects a second heat signature inside the stolen truck, which is confirmed by a drone, revealing that Rob has taken Raven's daughter, Britt, and is heading straight toward the Mercy Court. Mercy calculates the explosives inside the truck and determines the load is massive, over 3,000 pounds, and if it detonates downtown, thousands of people will die. SWAT units attempt to stop the truck, and an explosion hits the road, but it does not fully detonate, allowing Jack to barely survive. Judge Maddox offers to end the trial immediately and release Raven from the chair, but Raven refuses because if the trial ends, they lose cloud access, and if they lose access, Rob escapes, so Raven chooses to stay. The chase continues as Rob's truck races toward the Mercy building and the city begins evacuating, while Jack flies her helicopter directly in front of the truck, and Judge Maddox requests a live feed of Rob's face. Raven speaks to him directly, and Rob finally admits everything, revealing that he planned this for 2 years and wanted Raven trapped in the chair, suffering the same way his brother did when Mercy executed him. Raven tells Rob that David Webb was guilty, but Rob screams back that his brother was innocent, forcing Judge Maddox to interrupt and offer Rob something he never had before, a chance to put his brother's case back on the record, opening a new hearing where Rob testifies that he was speaking to his brother on the phone at the exact time David Webb was supposedly committing the murder, and that he tried to tell the police, but no one ever listened. Mercy checks the records and confirms that the phone existed and was taken into evidence, but it later vanished, and when Mercy pulls Jack Diallo's body cam footage from the night David Webb was arrested, it becomes clear that the phone never made it into evidence, causing Jack to freeze as the truth finally comes out that she hid the phone because she believed Mercy needed to succeed, believed fear would save the city, and allowed an innocent man to die to protect the system, which causes everything to break, proves Rob was right and Mercy was wrong, leads to Jack being arrested, and ends with Raven hugging his daughter as the movie comes to a close.